Business owners, entrepreneurs, and even my ministry leaders, I got a question for you. Do you know why you're in business? Coming up on this episode of Bootstrapping Business and Ministry, I'm going to get into exactly that. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why knowing your why in business will help you to sustain it longer. What's going on, everybody? Glenn P. Brooks Jr. here. Super excited to be back with you for another edition of Bootstrapping Business and Ministry. Here's what I want to share with my business owners, my entrepreneurs, and even my ministry leaders. Many of you guys know what you do. There's no question about that. But there is a fundamental understanding of why you do what you do that will cause people to do business with you. I'll give you a quick example. As a relationship development specialist, there are a ton of people in the marketplace that do what I do, right? But the reason why people do business with me is not because of what I do, it is because of why I do it. And when I can convey that in a way that answers people's problems or solves a problem, I promise you it will not only garner me business, but it will help me to understand how to build business long term. I'm going to take you into a lunch and learn that I did with a couple of folks in our MAPS Masterclass, and I'm going to talk to you about the 3 things that you're going to need to know in order to be able to drill down on your why. What is the importance of it and how it will help you to build and sustain your business over a long period of time. We'll be back right after that, and we're going to tell you a little bit about how you can get involved with us here at the MAPS Masterclass. But until then, just hang tight, and we'll be back right after this. Here are 3 things that you need to know when it comes to the importance of your why in business. Number 1, it adds credibility. Put that in the chat. We're talking about the 3 reasons why it's important for you to know your why in business. And number 1 is to add credibility. I want y'all to listen to this. Knowing your why gives your business strength. There are a lot of people who business lack strength. Have you ever done business with a person and when you got in and started doing business with them, it was sort of lackluster? It sort of lets you down. And as a matter of fact, the marketing got you there, but it kind of lost its steam once you partook of their product, once you consumed what it was that they were putting out there, their content, and it just kind of fell off a little bit. Oftentimes that expectation that you have was built up through marketing, but it's why they do what they do that is the stake. So if the marketing is the sizzle, their why is the steak. Does that make sense? And so when you go into a Ruth's Chris and you sit down and you eat that steak, you understand you may have never had grass-fed beef. You may have never tasted a steak that was seared at 1800 degrees on an open grill in an open flame. But I guarantee you, when you can cut through that steak with your fork, and you do not need a knife, you will recognize that you sunk your teeth into one of the most amazing pieces of beef on the planet. It's because it's their why. Now, I just got finished making some of you saying, I'm getting ready to order me some Ruth's Chris for real right now. Like, my meat eaters are salivating at the moment. And you know why, guys? Is because I added credibility. Instantly, it adds credibility because I just gave my business some lift. So the marketing got you in the door, the sizzle, the advertising, or whatever whatever the thing was that got you in the building. Even a referral may have gotten you here. It's the stake. It's my why that will keep you coming back. I guarantee you that. I am a relationship coach. There are thousands of relationship coaches. The question is, why do people choose me? It's not because of what I do, it's because of why I do it. When people hear my story and they hear me say things like, I've been married for over 30 years to 2 different women. That statement by itself as a standalone will make people just sit there like a frog in a hailstorm saying, wait a minute, let me run the math on that real quick. What did he just say? He's married to he's been married to 2 different women for 30 years? Like, is he a polygam? Like, they stop. They stop and they start to, well, that's the point. But then the why keeps them there. And what I found out in being married to 2 different women over the last 30 years is that the difference between a marriage working and not working is not the love, it's the skill. See, I didn't fall out of love with my ex-wife. I fell out of skill. I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to go and develop a skill set to make marriage work. How do I know I did that properly? I've now been married 21 years in a row after a 12-year marriage. We successfully blended our family. We've gone on cruises with our co-parents. When I start saying stuff like that, it automatically solidifies and it adds credibility because I'm intimately aware of my why. We're talking about 3 reasons why it's important to know your why in business. Number 1, we said add credibility. Number 2, I want you to know it will generate direction. So many businesses lack direction. They don't know where they're going. And so, Tanja, what'll happen is if you're not careful, you'll end up anywhere. And so you can be looking at this social media feed or that particular guru or this particular industry professional, and before you know it, you're all over the place trying to figure out, what do I do next? You're buying software that you don't even use. And the reason why is because you're not intimately aware of or working from the perspective of your why. When you do, it will cause you to generate direction. Listen to this. Understanding your why doesn't just benefit you in making sales. It also helps you to grow your business from the inside out. Guys, businesses that are grown from the inside out are businesses that are fortified. Those are businesses that will last. And so, Kofia, my goal is not to be here for the short term. I am going to leave a legacy in this earth that will remind people for years after I am gone the impact that I've made on this planet. Let me tell you how that's already starting. Very eerie thing. Have y'all noticed how Facebook has changed its memories page? And so now for every day that you get on Facebook, you can see it's going back from memories of a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5. It's going all the way back in one feed. And you can choose on this day, 5 years ago, this is what you were doing. It is amazing how consistent I've been over the last 5 years, showing up as who I am, what I do, why I do it, and who I do it for. That's not an accident. And so check this out. If someone, Lord forbid, I transition a week from now, my wife takes over my page, do you know she can share out my content every single day because of what I've done over the last 5 years alone? And that in of itself can be monetized. I need y'all to think differently. Because I've put so much content in the marketplace, it constantly keeps coming back up because my why generates a direction. Number 3, when you understand the importance of knowing your why in your business, it will help you to develop the what. And this is the part, and we're going to do some Q&A after this session, but I want you guys to understand that knowing your why helps you to develop your what and makes business decisions moving forward infinitely easier to make. You will not get bogged down in the weeds on what do I do next when your what has been developed. So now that you intimately understand your why, it helps to inform, what do I do? When do I do it? When do I execute? When do I pull the trigger on this? Many of you guys have some short-term and long-term goals. I'm getting ready to put together a calendar and then a challenge for you guys here in the MMC. What will you accomplish in the next 30 days? Because Q3, your cohort will be over in 30 days. Q4, your cohort will be starting in 45 days. And so here's what I know to be true. I'm already looking at 2021. By how do I finish 2020 strong? Does that make sense? My 2021 will be informed on how strong I finished 2020. And so I look at my years by quarters, and I always think 3 months in 3 month increments. And so it's helping me to develop the what. So now I already know that this fall, we're going to do an intimacy challenge. It's not going to be called that, but for our MAPS Relationship Academy, I want to figure out how can we create a space for intimacy to grow. Well, here's what I know. One of the key points of that is that you're well. It is hard to be intimate when you don't feel good. It's hard to be close. It's hard to connect. It's hard to open up. Keith, one of our crisis counselor here in the MMC, he can tell you all day long, if a person is not well on the inside, it shows up on the outside. And that's more than physical health. That's mental health. That's emotional health, guys. So I need everybody to understand that that will inform your what. So I appreciate you guys hanging out for today's Lunch and Learn. 3 reasons why it's important to know your why in business. A quick recap. Number 1, it adds credibility. Number 2, it will generate direction. And number 3, it will develop your what. At the end of the day, here's what I know to be true. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. Why? Because we all need some help. Well, I hope that makes sense. I hope that you were able to figure out why it's important for you to really understand your why. In the MAPS Relationship Academy, where we help people build their personal development, it helps them to understand why they want to do that, right? In the MAPS Masterclass, when we help people build their professional development, it helps them to understand their why in their business. If you want to come work with us, we'd love to have you. Do me a favor, click the description, the link in the description below, where you can find an opportunity to sign up for a free discovery session to help you understand what it is that we do, vice versa. If we can assist you in any way, we would love to help you to discover your why, because here's what I do know to be true. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. Why? Because we all need some help. Guys, if this video has helped you, do me a favor, click somewhere on here, and I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check out our videos from previous experiences, and we'll see you back on the next edition of Bootstrapping Business and Ministry.